Alright y'all, the Curse of the Split premiere continues because how was part 2 of season 17 worse than the first half was? I have a theory that all the split premieres do not work for a very specific reason, and maybe I'll deep dive into that at some point on this channel. The second group always has the biggest problems. That happened yet again. Yikes, this was bad. Hi, hello everyone, my name is Jer and we are talking about Drag Race Season 17, Episode 2, The Drag Queen's Got Talent 2. The internet seems to be living for a lot of these talent shows, and I was not. So addressing last week, I asked who Lexi was reminding me of, and there was a comment saying Lisa Kudrow, which 100 billion% that's exactly who she reminds me of celebrity-wise. Mixed with Raja Gemini because her cadence and tone is very similar to the way that Raja talks. That is exactly what Lexi's energy is like. A lot of the internet is saying that some of these queens were doing really great in the talent show and others did not. I very much disagree and we're gonna dive into those. Before we do that, I'm still trying to grow this channel from my main. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe. But thank you for everyone who has been tuning in and watching the various videos that I've been posting. I really appreciate it. If you already know me from my main channel, I've been doing Drag Race content for almost a decade, but I wanna make sure that this channel has space for Drag Race only and not the other variety that I like. So please make sure that you're already subbed. If you recognize my face, this is not the same channel as the last one. Initially, I was kind of confused why there wasn't more drama surrounding the vote choices from last week, but I can only assume that producers told them to hold off any conversations because next week they are showing the receipts of all the voting. I mentioned that I really liked this cast last week, and that is still sticking true. I am a little bit concerned about this Generation Ru children that we're getting because I think a lot of them have been so infused with what Drag Race is that they've sort of lost the art of drag, which is gritty, it's campy, it's a little messy sometimes, but it can be very pretty and glamorous. And I think that's why Lexi performed so well this season, because she's not a part of Generation Ru. She has not been changed or had her drag diluted because of what the show expects from the contestants coming in. I appreciate drag and I love what drag is at its core. Drag Race is very specifically different. And to vibe off of what Jasmine Masters famously once said, RuPaul's Drag Race has absolutely changed drag. And I love that Lexi is so true to what the origins are and isn't afraid to do what she's doing and not do what the show typically expects. And I think she'll be rewarded this season for that. She's just a natural, she's got star presence, she's got this thing about her that you naturally want to just keep listening to. I am fascinated by her and I'm loving her more and more every episode. Can't wait to see what happens next week. Lawrence Chaney comes into the workroom at the start of the episode to remind everyone what happened last week and set them up for what's going to happen this week. My theory is that Ru saw how bad she looked last week and begged Raven for another 2 or 3 hours so she could not do the workroom entrance, and that paid off because she came in looking like a high glamour Pandora box in her season 6 of All Stars workroom entrance. Thank you, Raven. Thank you, whoever did the wig. I'm still begging for Delta Work to come in and fix up Ru's hair. You know, that's a pipe dream. Lawrence honestly is a really great example of a winner who did not perform well her entire season. She started out really good and front-loaded her talent there, but after that COVID break, she was on kind of a downhill. But none of that really matters because she snatched Ru's attention and knows how to make Ru laugh. Even when she wasn't doing well in the competition, Ru still enjoyed her, said her name in a very specific way, and Ru loves her. The most important and key factor to winning Drag Race is knowing how to get Ru's attention. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad at drag, and not saying that Lawrence is bad at drag, but it really truly does not matter. All that matters is you getting Ru to like you. And so again, I think this is a really great reminder of her being here, that all you have to do is get Ru to like you. And I think some of these girls have already done that. And some of these girls have lost her attention faster than trying to show a little Cocomelon iPad kid a different piece of media. The thing that is so confusing about this group is how they're all calling Lexi grandma and old lady. Like, she's 33. Someone needs to arrest every single Gen Zer out there and send them straight to jail, because the way that 33 is not old at all. That aged me 100 years because I'm 35. 33 being old. But I love Miss Lexi because she is able to take some shade and just let it roll off her back. She's not bothered by these young kids. And that I think is gonna propel her all the way to the end of this competition. Easy. In the workroom, the girls are all asking Acacia who she wants to lip sync against. It seems like they're all in solidarity that whoever Acacia thinks she can beat, that's who they're gonna put down there because they want to keep their premier sister. And she goes around and does a little interview with everyone. Hormona reads right through the shenanigans and realizes what is being asked. And Acacia says Hormona. Objectively, she's the weakest in the group, and also she's got a bit of an attitude problem. I know that it's really early in the season to be making these kind of comments, and I don't want to seem like I'm being mean or overly harsh, but she's allowing this I got picked by Ru to get in her head a little bit, I think, and that's coming off super condescending and demeaning to everyone else. Making the remark, if you vote against me or voting against Ru, was crazy. But I do have to say, the producers definitely know what they're doing because they are painting her out to be the villain of the season by letting her have the first save and giving her a trip. It's creating hostility between her and the fans, as well as hostility between her and the workroom. And I do worry about her mental health as a performer and an entertainer outside of the show, because this is gonna generate a lot of buzz online and send her a lot of nasty DMs and emails her way, and I don't think she deserves that. I think she deserves a little bit of humble pie with a little scoop of whipped cream on top. Please be nice to this girly online, especially in the comments here, because we ain't gonna do all that. Our runway category is It Cake? I love this concept, but it's like 3 years too late to catch up to the meme. If this had been maybe in season 15, it would have been closer towards when people were interested in raging against this. And I'm curious why Drag Race is so behind right now. Everything that they're referencing is just a little too off. Even last week's runway category of Mask for Masked Singer was 2 years too late. They should have done that the year that Wendy Williams went viral for that lip performance. I really hope Wendy's doing well wherever she's at. But regardless, I appreciated that it was a quasi-reveal. Something I have complained about for many Drag Race seasons is this obsession with reveal runways and telling us ahead of time, because a reveal is only impactful if you don't see it coming. WoW has been really obsessed with making these reveal runways happen. So last week and this week being a riff off of reveals was nice. I like that this one is a turn around and show your butt. However, I think, again, this was just maybe like a year too late. The season 15 girls would have been a better fit for this category because a lot of them did not pad. And instead of cake, we got a lot of very shiny butts. There's nothing wrong with that. Shiny butts matter. But shiny padded booties is not really what I was expecting for this, especially for an open back situation. I also don't know how much of the back I can actually show. Like, I don't know if YouTube will get mad at me for that. So we're just gonna play fast and loose with these. So let's talk about the runways, because this is my favorite thing to do every season. Out first is Sam's Star. I think this is a show-stopping look. The fact that it is a wedding cake that is so big in scale. This is a fantastic look. And front-loading one of your better looks at the beginning of the show sort of sets everybody up to fail, because the first look should be the expectation for what the challenge is. Now, if the expectation was to do a cake on the runway and then show your booty cake, then they really sabotaged everybody else by putting this at the front. Just my opinion. She looks a little bit like Anna Nicole Smith somehow in the makeup. Her backside looked great. I love her padding. I love the concept. I wish it was just a piping on it, like a Tiffany blue, bombastic orange, or a yellow or something to make the cake pop. I think a color would have made it pop a little more because it all washes out on the runway, but this is one of the better looks for me. Anya Nerve is out next and she is a peach. I think the corset was definitely not up to scale. The peach fascinator was a little crunchy looking. I did not like the leaf on the back because the fabric choice just made it look a little schlumpy. This was kind of lower for me. I didn't enjoy a lot of the decisions that were made with this. That corset being a beige gold underneath really harmed that peachy color because you could see it kind of popping through and it changed the color saturation on the corset. Next out is Crystal Envy doing one of my favorite looks of this particular runway. Riffing off of that classic tan bottle. Having the dog on the back pulling down the bathing suit was such a fun reference. I don't know how many people would even know what that is anymore. I liked the body paint on the suit. I liked the hair and the makeup. Everything was fun about this. Is it cake? No. But I liked it all the same. Next out is Corey King doing Monet Exchange's Work the World Tour look. Can I be honest? Can I be real? Can I be vulnerable? There are two things that I do not resonate with on the main stage. That's cosplay, especially if it's not refined, elegant cosplay, and someone else's drag. This goes all the way back to when Naomi used Raven's look again. There have been other queens that have recycled other queens' looks on the runway. I'm personally not a fan of that. I don't think it shows your distinct POV. I don't think it shows who you are as a queen. And I also just think it's a phone-in to not do the challenge. So this was a big miss for me. I don't think it met the runway criteria at all. If this was just a chance to show off her padding, there were so many other ways to do that. Because she is padded for the gods, and I love the way that she does her body. This was a miss for me. Next out is Lexi Love, and my god, I'm obsessed. I love that she calls her drag avant stupid. I resonate with that. I resonate with her. I think she's brilliant, and her having some of my favorite looks of both week 1 and 2 was quite fun. I loved the interpretation of this challenge. Does it fully meet the criteria? I don't know, but nobody else has really been on the mark either, so I give her a pass for that. Next out is Hormona Lisa. And it immediately flashes to Michelle cutting a look. Okay, so I have a personal beef with Marie Antoinette. She stole her look from Madame du Barry. I'm glad that she's rotting in hell. I don't think this look was that bad, and I don't understand why Marie Antoinette is the new green for Michelle. This look was fine. It makes sense for Is It Cake. There was no actual booty reveal. That was my biggest problem. It was just some frosting on the back with cherries. That was whatever to me. Next up is Lana Del Rey, and I have the same problem that I had last week with a lot of these girls' looks. The point of a reveal is to edge you, stroke a little bit and get you wanting to finish, but then it doesn't. It goons you, and then when you finally make it happen, it's an unexpected explosion. And she immediately came out and turned around and showed off her butt. I love that it's her butt. I love that she showed her real actual cakes. I wanted her to wait. I wanted her to go down the runway, let it linger, and then show us. Because this was a pretty solid reveal. It was very much like when Detox did that black dress in season 5, then showed that her butt was actually exposed. This had the same energy, and I wanted to get edged. Is asking to be edged too hard on Drag Race? Don't finish right away. Edge. Next out is Acacia Forgot. This was a low look for me. I don't like the POV of it. I think it is a little, I don't want to use the word crafty because I really like craftiness. It was crafty. However, turning around and showing her actual hairy, fuzzy little butt was everything. The internet seems pretty furious about this hairy butt situation. Y'all, people got hairy butts. Let people with hairy butts live. Let them live their life. Some people wear 1,000 tights in order to hide their hairiness. I wore 16 pairs of tights to smooth out my pads and to cover my hairy legs because I did not want to shave them. And they're not even that hairy. So let this girl live. You want her to shave her butt cheeks just so that she can go into RuPaul's Drag Race and show them off? No, this is free advertisement. I don't know what Acacia identifies as, but if she's a bottom, she just got a lot of people getting in line to put their face between him and Motorboat. The look may have been blah, but the butt saved it for me. Next out is Arietti, and I think this was a cool look for a different runway. I love the spiral hair. I love that it is echoed throughout the rest of the dress. I think the specific shiny silver is reading not so powerful on the runway as it could, but I do like the stoning. Jules comes out next, and this also was a super low boot for me. I don't like the cut of this jumpsuit. I think the stars on it are a little blah to me, and I don't like the butt cutout either. I also have a fight response to the American flag and to those colors. I have a personal bias against these colors and everything that it's representing, but on top of it, I just don't think that the jumpsuit was where it could have been. But that mug, that mug could cut glass. Next out is Joella. I gotta know why her head looks like it was popped off of one Barbie and put onto another Barbie body. What is going on with the pink hair right here and then the red on the back? The queens always say that you should have 2 or 3 wigs to pad out your hair. One in the front to give you all the detail, another one sewn into the back for some volume, and then one on top of that to give you just a nice smooth appearance underneath the ratting. There is no drag queen tutorial in the world that tells you to use 2 different colors of wigs in these different saturations to create this effect. This look is nuts in the worst way possible. And again, it flashes to Michelle cutting the look. And honestly, this look was valid as hell. Joella looks terrible. The makeup isn't good. This crinkly rose gold fabric is a boot. This gold applique is such a opposing color storyline to the rose gold. She had no nails, no fishnets, a dual colored wig, and a dream to flop on the runway. I can't, get this away from me. And plus Marie Antoinette for Let Them Eat Cake. If you see that someone else is doing it, scrap your look and do something else. I don't know, you had to have had a backup. Next out is Lucky Stars. I really like the idea of this being dishes and soap suds on a sponge. Ru cuts a look like, this is not what I asked y'all to do. Should I have put you in the bottom somehow last week so that you didn't show us this? And I'm of 2 minds of this look. One, it does not meet the assignment at all. If in the back there was booty cake, or if somehow she had been able to like cut the dress open and there was a slice of cake that detached from it, that could have been interesting. Even adding like some Velcro or something to maybe scoop it out and be like, look, it's cake. That would have maybe brought it to the runway category that we needed. But I like the high concept of this. It's still not the category. Next out is Lydia Butthole Collins. I love this red on her. She looks beautiful. Like Lydia Dietz went and did burlesque. I think that's really all that's nice to say about it. The cut of the bust is not my favorite. I really don't like spiky boobies and this obsession with those. And then on top of it, I didn't really vibe with the cut of the dress. I think it almost looked a little bit like a show curtain, like a theater show curtain. It's fine. That's really all it boils down to. It's just fine to me. Susie Toot is out next, and I liked what the idea of this was. It was Ren fair to me. I think the biggest impact was her using this potion, which she said was supposed to be a love potion, but it turns her into a donkey, which is also another word for ass, which is also another word for booty, which is similar to cake. I see the through line. I do think that the donkey butt could have been stoned, or it could have had some type of glitter application to it just to make it pop and be a little more drag. But I liked what it wanted to be. So let's breeze through these variety shows, which were not good. Sam Star is out first, and I'm gonna be real, the yeehaw immediately kicked off my flight response. I'm like, no, get me out of here. I do think it was entertaining in its own way. I think the lyrics were well written. It was composed well. I think the performance was a little mid. That death drop was terribly clunky, but I don't think she was the worst, especially considering her runway was so good, in my opinion. Anya is next. In my onion, it was a very big Selena S. Titties energy. Just like, I'm a fun girl who likes to go to the club and I can have a good time. I think it wanted to be fierce and it wanted to be funny, but I don't think it committed enough to the comedy to really reach a level of both. I think it was just more fierce. The internet is really abuzz about how good this song was, and I found it standard. I found it par for the course. Crystal Envy was the next to perform, and I really hated the outfit because I could see the reveal underneath it. It was very 7-year-old dance girl doing her first dance pageant, coming out in 25 yards of tulle to remove it to show off like some sleek glittery bodysuit. The performance was also not as strong as I think it could have been. The dancing was kind of weak, and I say that as someone who can't dance and doesn't have a lot of rhythm. So like, take my opinion for a grain of salt. It was very toddlers and tiaras coded overall, and it just didn't connect with me. However, the song was nice, it was well written. Granted, it was quite self-serving, but I mean, as a drag queen, I guess you're supposed to be a little self-serving. Hormona came out next and was doing comedy, which I immediately was screaming, oh God, no.
No, you made the wrong decision!
Please don't do this. No comedy act in the history of ever has done well in the talent/variety show. Jasmine Masters, we're talking Derek Barry, we're talking The problem with the stand-up is that it's an energy shift. It's a tonal shift. You're going from high energy, beat, 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 to hi everyone, I'm gonna tell you some jokes and I'm gonna make you laugh. And your audience has to readjust their energy 100% to meet where you're at. That's bad showmanship. That's not a good idea. That's like doing a ballad in the middle of a bunch of dance pop numbers in your local club. Your entire bar has to readjust their energy to get ready for you. And the idea of being in a drag bar and starting out is that is priming you for what's gonna work in a television spectrum. Any drag queen in the world knows if you do an energy shift in the middle of the show, you have to have some type of payout to make that work. I think the only way a comedy number or a stand-up number would work in a drag talent/variety show is if you do a Lady Bunny-esque performance, where you come out on the mic and you immediately run out to music, you do like a funny little dance, spin around and go, "Did you ever hear the one about the scarecrow? He was outstanding in his field." You know, like that's really the only way you could make something like that work, because it keeps the energy high. You keep your jokes short, sweet, and to the point. And anytime a story has a "but seriously," I already know that you are nosediving because you're struggling to get your energy back. You're struggling to get the room back on your side. And it was the longest set I have ever seen. It felt like it took up half the episode. However, Corey King is out next and is booing in her confessional Hormona's performance. And that woman had a lot of gall booing Hormona. And then coming out in yuck, what is this silver iridescent tank top and box pleat skirt combo? This is disgusting. This looks so gross to me. And then she took off her skirt to shake that ice to reveal 7 of the smallest fake ice cubes that I have ever seen in my life. I think if she had 100 of these ice cubes just dangling off of her body, and it was like a fringe of ice cubes all the way around, just jingle jangling, I think that would have had so much more visual interest, and it would have been that level of stupid that Rue and Michelle love. I know that a lot of y'all like this. All of Twitter keeps telling me that this was the best number of the night, and I legitimately just, my first word out of my mouth was yuck. I didn't like it. Her makeup is great, her hair is great, but this body is not it. I will not apologize for my opinion. Don't make me. I won't. Next out is Lana Jarrett. I think having Lux's face to open up her number was fun. It is an homage to the fact that that's her mother. But then she said, when I drop into a split, and then did the exhausted waitress move. Can we retire the exhausted waitress, please? Everybody does this move. Everyone does it! I'm tired of it. Please make it stop. And if you are going to say when I drop into a split and don't do a split, your audio had no payoff to your performance. The best part of it though was RuPaul just ascending into another plane of boredom. I saw her leave her body for a moment. I saw her disappear into a death would be better mentality. And then at the very end, she sort of woke up and was like, oh my God, I'm back in my body, I'm healed. And thank God for Lexi being the last one out, because Ru looked totally checked out until it started, and it was like all the vitality in her body went back to her. Because I think she was probably hearing color by this point of the night, because it was all just so lackluster. She was roller skating to music, which was brilliant. It had a lot of visual interest, and she took up the entire stage, which was smart. And doing a cartwheel in skates was nuts. And then she spun around and swiffered the floor with her puswacha. That was amazing. She killed this. It was over when she did that number. That was a wrap for me. Crown the girl now and then show us just some fun runways for the rest of the season, because I've seen enough. So with Rita Queen, there were a lot of ways this could have gone, and I wasn't terribly surprised at the direction that it went. Hormona was the weakest on the runway and in the challenge. She's been rubbing people wrong. She's been acting a little haughty and a nose up in the air, so I don't blame them for putting her at the bottom. While they're all voting, it does some judges' critiques, and Michelle is talking about the many great versions of Marie Antoinette that have been on the runway. And while I completely understand Raja and Nymphia, cutting to Jinx Monsoon. Ah yes, Jinx Monsoon, purveyor of incredible Marie Antoinette drag on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race, The editors were struggling to find a good Marie Antoinette. There's been Marie Antoinettes in the UK. I feel like I remember seeing a couple Marie Antoinettes in Canada, and I don't think those would have been that big of a stretch to have included, because it's to solidify a point that on the main stage of Drag Race, Marie has been done many, many, many times. It's quite frankly tired at this point to keep doing it. Find a new reference. I get that. Jinx Monsoon in the pink runway of season 5, where she's wearing a corset and a giant pink wig and some pearls. Mama. Someone was pouring through the Drag Race wiki, looking through every season, begging for one to show up so that they could include it in this montage. And they saw Jinx and they were like, you know what? We're not gonna get better than this. If the point was to prove something, it wasn't proven, mama. Crystal and Lexi are the top 2 of this challenge, which I totally 100% agree with. Lexi was the best one in the challenge, and honestly, I think Crystal was one of the better ones in the runway. They have to lip sync to Alter Ego by Doechii, and there was a comment like Battle of the White Girls. They had so much personality and energy without appropriating Black culture, which I really appreciated. To me, the energy was very much, we are not gonna be the most Caucasian girls on the cast doing this song and then mess it up by being super white about it. I appreciated what they did. They were very entertaining. They ate up the stage, took up the space. Lexi killed it for me in a way that I was not expecting, so she rightfully won. And Ru looked like her coffee enema finally kicked in by this point, because she was living. And then the energy took a huge downward spiral into the bottom 2 lip sync, which is Acacia and Hormona to Yes And. The song started and it was doing that initial beat, and I stood up from my chair and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I love this song. It is so good. It is so danceable. There's so many things you could do with this song, and neither one of them did anything. It was legitimately the ghost of Go Ahead Girl, Give Us Nothing from both of them. Acacia should have torn off that skirt and just performed with her booty cheeks out, but maybe censorship told her she couldn't, and maybe her dingling was out too, so maybe she couldn't take it off. Maybe like it would have just been full twig and berries flopping around out there like one of those inflatable tube men, and maybe having all of that bush and cock and balls everywhere could not have been TV appropriate. But I mean, honestly, it would have been better if she didn't have that skirt. I don't know why she didn't put on some panties while she was backstage so that she could take that thing off. Panties, bitch. Instead, she spent her backstage time taking a Aquafina bottle of water and squirting it up her pussy so that she could be clean to stick that makeup brush in there, which was hilarious. I appreciated the sight gag of it all, but the performance was like, and then Hormona did nothing, like nothing. I hold space for drag that tells us nothing, because there are people who are out there who don't have a point of view in drag. And I think that is important to recognize, that art is available to anyone, especially people who don't do it well. That's why Joella's here. I'm so sorry. Maybe I should cut that, but I don't know, I was bored by it. So Acacia is in, Hormona is out, or so we think, because then they reveal the twist of this season, which is the Badonka Dunk Tank. And I feel so bad for Michelle having to get up on that thing every single week for some production shenanigans in the same way that they did the Golden Chocolate Bar. This is 100% going to be used for a producer favorite or a Ru favorite, someone that they don't want to get eliminated, and they're gonna use it for the last possible second. Because this lever situation, let's not get it twisted, mama. Those levers don't connect to anything except for hopes and dreams. There is a producer in the back sitting with a Bluetooth button on their iPhone, ready to press it so that Michelle will drop down. And here's my little tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I don't think this had anything to do with Hormona. I don't think it was let's save her because Ru picked her and likes her. I think Ru probably is bored by her already. I think this genuinely was no one's going home for the first 2 episodes, as we've been doing in the US for the last several years. I wish that someone would have gone home. I want to see these girls get knocked off so that Lexi and Susie could be the top 2. Come on, let's just get this season over with. I think the most egregious part was that she won a trip for being in the bottom. Losing is the new winning, I guess. I don't know. Everybody should have gotten something, because that was just shenanigans. That was nuts to me. It was not inspired, it was boring, it was obvious. It was some heavy-handed producing, and I didn't vibe with it. There are 10 levers altogether, and there's 1 remaining, which will save a queen by dropping Michelle in the water. I already kind of can sense who this is gonna go to. If I'm predicting out into the future, I feel like Ru is completely enamored with Anya. So I feel like this could be used to help save her from a week that she's in the bottom. I could see this as being something that a front runner like Lexi or Susie will benefit from. I think this easily could go to Lydia, and that's really all that I'm predicting might get the second lever. So this will be an exact situation like the golden chocolate bar, where anybody that Ru and producers don't care for that much are just gonna pull the lever and nothing will happen. It will not matter what number lever they pull. If it's someone that they like, they will get the badunkadunk. And the girls honestly seem kind of plucked, and truthfully, I was a little bothered too. This was too early to use this. I think the idea of having 2 saves is so cool and could have been a great plot device for later in the season. Maybe utilizing this in episode 5 and then using it again in episode 9 or 10 just to edge us all the way to the very end of it would have been more effective than wasting a pull right now. But Hormona's pretty good TV because she's causing friction in the workroom, she's lighting fires, she's igniting frustration, and that is important on Drag Race. That is something they focus on because they are trash reality TV at the end of the day, especially since they're on MTV now. Trash reality TV is the absolute lowest bar that they've got to hit. So, you know, I've spoken for long enough. Let me know what your thoughts were in the comments below about this episode, and I will see y'all on the flip. Thank you so much for watching.